Hello to our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout. Today was max effort lower day, but a quick reminder, please click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. I am sorry I'm just now getting to this voiceover. I got tied up with a bunch of client stuff. I finished this workout a couple hours ago, and I'm just now getting to putting the voice on it. So we did 64 pounds of chains to a nice heavy single, not an all-out true max on the safety bar because I wanted to pull next, but I took it well above 90% because, again, my best with this bar is 531. Obviously, I do 605 on a different bar. 531 is my best on this bar, so, again, that's not much more than that at the top. I think just a few pounds, really. So, but, again, it felt pretty challenging. It felt hard. I knew I was well above 90%, and that's good enough, right? Nice solid lockout, racked it, whenever did some pulls. I decided just on a whim, let's do some sumo today. I have a feeling my hips are going to be a weak link on the sumo. I was really weak on that. I noticed that before. Last time I sumoed, it's been a while. So I'm like, well, I'm kind of running out of steam on PRing on all those good mornings. And so I do need to get some new stuff in the rotation after squatting for the second max. Let's start messing with the sumo pulls, a little more pulling, more bands, more chains. And these didn't go too well. You know, and I think it's just that my hips just aren't strong enough, and they're not used to pulling. My hips are not used to me deadlifting with them to the same degree, at least with the wider stance. So I went over, even with just 515 with the chains, and it's not a lot of chains. I think it's 57 pounds of chains. If my math is right, yes, 57. I didn't break it on the first try, so I had to step back, regain my composure. Look at that. I couldn't get it, right? I broke it off the floor, which is the hardest part on the sumo, but I just couldn't get into position. So I'm like, let me regain my composure. Come over, pull again, and we pulled it. And it was pretty hard. So I'm just like, well, that's it for the sumo for today. It felt hard. It was grindy. That felt above 90%. So even if that's a really light weight, I mean, I've sumoed more than that in the past. We know where it is. But I also said, well, we'll address it on the supplemental work side. It's time to add the belt squats back in. You know, because when I did have a decent sumo before, I was doing a lot of belt squats. What did Louis Simmons say about that? I mean, go back to his original works. Some of the earliest stuff the man was publishing. He had even said, look, he pulled conventional forever, but then because he had a weightlifting background, and then when he started doing more belt squats, he found sumo got easier, and he started, you know, hitting records with sumo. Okay. So I decided I do need to get some belt squats back in. It will teach my hips to activate in that same position as the sumo pull, because it's very similar. The other thing you guys will note is I went back to 10s today for the lower. It gets to a point where 20s get grueling. And when I get to a point to where I wake up and I don't want to do my squat day because of the 20s, it's time to adjust. I get really good results on the 10s. And here's the funny thing. I was hating the 10s before, right? And a lot of people don't know this, but I don't like to squat. People are like, wait, you're talking about breaking a record in the squat, but you don't like squatting? No, I hate squatting. And most people don't know that. I took it a year and a half off from squatting just a few years ago. So everyone freaks out about my squat progress, but it's like, what did you expect? I hit a 500 squat in less than 2 years of training again back in the UK on camera after learning to walk again. Okay. I took a year and a half off from squatting completely. It didn't take me much over a year to get back to 500 again. I just did deadlifts for my lower body. So I'm good at squatting. I don't like squatting. I'm good at it. I love deadlifting. I love every deadlift. I don't care what the deadlift is. Sumo, conventional. Conventional deadlift's my favorite lift. I love pulling. I don't like squatting. I want to break records. And I will. My squat's going to keep going up on all the bars. It's going to keep going up because I'm going to train it hard. But we did 3 sets of 10 at 70% today. So this is 371 because my max with this bar is 531. So people say, why are you doing this bar so much? Because it hits my weak points on the squat. And because I'm weakest at it, I can use the lightest weight to get the same amount of muscle stimulus. The safety bar does really well in studies, even when you're forced to use a lighter weight because you're weaker at it. Muscle activation studies have really given it a lot of respect. to the point where I've seen people say that if someone's not going to compete in powerlifting, there's no reason a field athlete or another athlete can't just squat on the safety bar all the time. It's a primary squat. And that's practically how I use it. And it carries over. Because when we look at my weak links on the straight bar, the back squat, they get addressed specifically by this bar. So why wouldn't I use it for to hypertrophy my weakest links? So that's what I'm doing. And then, same thing, I did 10s on my good mornings. So we went a little heavier. We went with, again, 281 on this. Now, obviously, if I'm using the cambered bar, I'd be up closer to 380. And that will probably be coming up because every time I hit it for a single, what do? I go ahead and do my back off work with that same bar. But, you know, this bar is super hard for me on good mornings. I'm really good at other bars. You guys have seen me hit over 500 pounds on multiple bars now. It's not just, oh, the cambered bar, he's got a 555. I've done like 520 with other bars, straight bar and stuff, and buffalo bar, right? We've done that on camera. Well, the buffalo bar, which it feels the same as a straight bar to me. And then I did my double overhand grip work. I went up 10 pounds on this today. This was hard. First set didn't go too bad. Like that one looked real good. These won't I turn it off. I think on the next couple I just went over and just pulled it as soon as I finished the good morning. But on the second one of these though, I grabbed it not in the, I wasn't centered and it's offset, so it made it really hard. But that extra 10 pounds got real hard. And I was happy because last workout I got to where I could do all my sets with 250 for the double overhand on an axle, and I was holding them for a 10 count. That extra 10 pounds, my God, it mattered. Like I said, that first set looked good, but towards the end, when I got to the sixth one, which you guys will see when we get there, what happens, you'll see. I can't even lock it. The bar ripped out of my grip on the sixth single before I even got to the lockout. My grip was done. So it's going to be a fight every time I increase weight. So now that I mastered 2 workouts in, I mastered the 250. We have to go up 10 pounds. But, you know, think of how this carries over. Right, because right now my grip is slipping with weights over 600 as far as lockout weights. I can deadlift way more than that conventional. We can estimate that all my lower body lifts. There's no way I'm even close to 600. I can't grip it, and it's the deadlift bar is just hell on my hands. So I'm toughening the skin up more. We're going to do that axle work. Okay, we have to. My grip is going to be my limiting factor on the deadlift. Period. Full stop. On the conventional. Now, my sumo, it's a different story, right? My hips need the extra work. Hips need the work. But that's not really been a problem for me. My hips get pretty strong quickly when I do the right stuff. But I'm not box squatting. Okay, I had the strongest hips when I was doing all those speed boxes with all the way to the edges of the rack. So people have to think about that. The box squats, when I was doing box squats for all that time near the end, for all the speed work and the maxes, my feet were completely against the sides of the rack. Okay? I'm not doing that on squatting now. I'm not ultra wide. I'm not doing the box work. I haven't been doing much belt squatting. So some of the muscles involved for the sumo are not getting work the same. See, this one, I think this is one of those where I grabbed it offset a little bit, and I struggled with that. I got a little better after that. But the good mornings were definitely challenging. The 281 for 10s on that bar is tough. I can do that for 20 with a cambered bar, not that bar. And it has to do with the moment arms. People always ask that. They're like, well, will they ever catch up? No, they can't. The bar on the safety bar is sitting 6 inches further up my back because I have decent sized traps. The bar has to sit on top of your traps and the pad thickness between it. Okay, you're changing the moment arm by at least 6 inches. Like a 6 inch longer lever, you'll never lift the same weight. If you do, something is very, very wrong. So I went ahead and did my belt squats this way. You know what? I messed and took people's advice, and I messed with all the end of a bar and with the whatever the device is called. You guys know what that thing is called. The sleeve you drop the bar in the end of. And that got to be just a pain in the butt. And I realized, let me just go back to the way I used to do these and just put plates on the belt, set it up right, and climb up and do it. Now, these were decently challenging, but I can go heavier. And we'll go heavier next time. I wanted to get back in the groove, so I just did 12s with 4 plates, so 180 pounds. And then I did my grips after. These started getting tough. That extra 10 pounds, like this set was one of the better ones. I did really well on that one. Right? That set went well. So it's like my grip is holding good. I think that's the fourth one. And I think one more it held decently. And then the sixth set, my grip completely gave out. Okay? So I need to get to where I can complete all my sets with this weight. Okay, with this weight. And when I can do that, then I can go up again. But it's going to be a fight. And here's what my goal. My goal is to get to where I can do 300 pounds for double overhand holds. Okay, with that bar. Right? I think when we get to that point, my grip will be in a good place. Will my grip be good enough for my deadlift goals? Maybe not. That still might not catch. That still might not catch my deadlift grip up to what my glutes and hamstrings are capable of doing. But it'll put me in the right direction. But even the 300, when I'm realizing that 10-pound increases on that seem to get a hell of a lot harder. That 300 is going to take a little work. Like, that's not going to be a joke. I'm gonna have to put this work in very consistently with this bar to do that. But it will fix my grip issue. That, and then doing the rowing, doing my pendlay rows with a deadlift bar to again toughen my hands up. And this set went decent too. So this was the fifth set. You know, and I did have one guy say, hey, you need 5 sets of these will do it. But look at that one. It was slipping on me. And my forearms and hands were just like, nope. They're like, nope. But it was still good. You know, I mean, I was decently happy with it. I mean, that one was still good. But that was the last good one I got. After that, the grip was done. But these belt squats felt good. And in fact, I felt the belt squats really, really lit up, like my VMO and the lower insertion on my adductors, particularly my right one. They got trashed on these. So it's a good thing I started a little light today. So again, we'll try to work these up. I'll probably add a plate and see if we can get 10s with another plate next time. But I've also said before, when you can get to 6 plates on these for work sets, you're in a good position on your squat. But I'm doing it not just for squatting. I'm doing it because, again, maybe I need to bring that sumo up. Because if my sumo is that weak, that represents a very large strength disparity. Because we need to be strong at all angles. That means there's an area that I can work on. And if the sumo is weak there, then maybe there can be problems with my wide stance squat at times. It's a potential weak link, even though we know that my squatting is not limited by my lower body at this point. It's limited by my back, which is why we do so much rowing and good mornings. Still, we have to stay ahead of the curve on these things. You know. So again, the sumo will give me a very good litmus test. I couldn't even get it up there. It was rolling already. So that was it. My grip was done. But we trained it hard. The grip got some real work in today. And we're going to do this every lower day. You know, now obviously I'm doing all that rowing, tons and tons of rowing on top of it. Then, again, glute ham raises. Since I decided to try to get closer to 10 reps, I picked up a 10, which normally is what I can do 10 reps with. I managed to get 3 sets of 12. And my hamstrings were cramping a bit. Like the first set, I felt like I could have got another rep. 12 wasn't a failure. But my hamstrings are getting a little crampy from these. So like, okay, this is a lot of tension, Jason. What are you doing to us? And I have to add weight at this point to get under 20 reps because I can't bring the thing in anymore. As I always remind you guys, there's nine settings as far as how close I can bring everything together, which makes it harder. I'm on setting 9, and on setting 10, I cannot physically get up into the device. It's too close. I can't get my legs in there to climb up into it. So I can't get on top of it correctly. Because normally I step up on the side and use like the stuff you see in the middle as a step. Well, my leg has to fit, and it won't fit. I cannot get my leg in there. So it's the hardest setting I can physically fit inside the device on. So it's what I work with. And remember, it took me a long time to get there. I used to use like setting number 5, and I built up. I think I got to a point where every time I could get like 20 reps, I would go to a harder setting. You know, until I got to the last setting that I can physically fit inside the device on. You know, so now I've got to add weight. But even then, if I want to get 10s on this, I mean, I just did 3 by 12 with this. With a 10, I'm going to have to add a little more weight. I'll use the 10 for now. I want to get a little stronger and see if the reps go up a bit. Because I know if I throw another 5 on, I guess I could micro load it. I don't know. If I drove 5 on, I might drop down to 9 or 8. That's not acceptable. So I guess I'll get a little stronger with the 10-pound plate. Because I can do 3 by 20 pretty consistently with just the body weight. But 3 by 12, it's not bad with this. I'm pretty happy with that. My hamstrings are in a good place. Doesn't mean we can't make them stronger. Now, keeping in mind, of course, my hamstring just got hit with that safety squat bar. That hits my hamstrings harder than the other bars do on the good mornings. So, you know, they got a pretty good beating today. And they were definitely cramping on me here. But still, it's 2 more reps than I had been getting last time I was using this. So my hamstrings have gotten stronger from those bodyweight 20s. They've gotten stronger. They've gotten stronger because my performance increased. Then the reverse hypers. You know, I've been trying to work with this weight for a while and get better at it. And I actually didn't say it. I just said 20 plus last time. I got 23 on all my sets last time. I got 25 this time. Okay. That's real good. I'm going to see if I can get 25 a couple workouts in a row. If I can do that, I'll add a little bit of weight. I'm going to micro load this up. I want to see if I can continue to get 25s with a little more weight, even if I can add 5 more pounds. Now, granted, I know that's 450. That's 10 of the calibrated plates on there, and that puts me in a good spot. But again, if we use the Clint Darden's math for the conventional deadlift, where does this put my deadlift potential as far as just my posterior chain is concerned? Obviously, the deadlift involves muscles of the upper body too. According to Clint's math, this says my deadlift potential should be about 690 off the muscles a reverse hyper uses. Now, is that going to be a guarantee? No, because I have other weak links. My grip is definitely a weak link. And because my mid-back is a weak link on my squats, I promise you if my grip is strong enough, I bet you it'll be a weak link on my deadlift. So I have a feeling that my mid-back would basically fail me before I get to that, right? I don't know where, 650, 670, I don't know. I don't think my mid-back can handle it yet. But we're working on that for the squats. The grip is going to be the big deal. But again, this puts me in a good position as far as lower back erectors, spinal erectors in the lumbar, glutes, hamstrings. I'm in a real good place right now based upon all these lifts, okay? Based upon where this is right now, the reverse hyper, hitting a PR on glute ham raise there. We're in a good position. So we need to continue to make sure that my entire hip structure gets stronger with the belt squats. So like maybe my sumo will go up. Continue to work on my grip as an ultra high priority for my deadlift. Keep working on the mid back. And we have good mornings and rows for that. I do a ton of rowing and pulling on my upper days. So we have a good game plan to keep everything moving forward. I'm overall, even though the sumos really sucked today, I'm happy with today's workout. Everything went really well. About the best it could be expected outside the sumos. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.